In Laos, they believe your soul has 32 pieces, and most people walk through life missing half of them. Here, in the most bombed country on earth, where a dollar can feed you for a day and ancient rituals decide your fate, something extraordinary happens when the world forgets to watch you. But what happens when paradise costs almost nothing and carries the weight of secrets too heavy for history books? You're about to discover 15 truths about Laos that will shatter everything you thought you knew about Southeast Asia. These aren't travel tips or tourist facts. These are the stories that reveal why this forgotten kingdom might be the most misunderstood place on earth. Before we begin this journey together, if you're drawn to places that challenge everything you think you know about beauty, resilience, and what makes life meaningful, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Because stories like these don't just entertain, they transform. Stay until the end, because by then you'll need to tell me, is a country's greatest strength found in what it hides, or what it refuses to forget? Number 1. The secret war that never ended. Between 1964 and 1973, American forces dropped over 2 million tons of ordnance on Laos, more than all the bombs dropped in World War II. Every 8 minutes, for 9 years straight, bombs fell from the sky. Yet this secret war remained classified for decades, erasing Laos from global consciousness. Today, in villages like Phan Savan, you'll find bomb casings transformed into fence posts, planters, even house foundations. The deadly remnants of war have become the building blocks of peace. 40% of these bombs never exploded. They're still there, waiting beneath rice paddies and school playgrounds. Children walk to school past craters that could swallow trucks, playing games around unexploded ordnance turned into playground equipment. Farmers navigate their fields with metal detectors, harvesting rice alongside remnants of a conflict the world chose to forget. Here's what haunts me. How does a nation turn its deepest wounds into its daily life? The transformation isn't just practical, it's philosophical. Every repurposed bomb casing represents a choice: to build rather than destroy, to create rather than mourn. The most profound part? The people who live among these transformed weapons harbor no visible anger. They've chosen healing over hatred, construction over complaint. But this choice comes at a cost that reveals itself in quiet moments. The careful way parents watch their children play, the unspoken prayers before plowing a new field. Tell me in the comments, have you ever seen resilience this quiet, this profound? I would love to hear your thoughts on how people transform trauma into hope. Number 2. The 32 spirits living inside you. The Lao believe every person contains 32 spirits called Quan. When you're stressed, sick, or traveling, these spirits scatter like startled birds. The Bachi ceremony, older than Buddhism itself, calls them back. Picture this. A respected elder ties white cotton threads around your wrists while chanting blessings in a language that predates temples. The threads stay on until they fall off naturally, carrying your spirits safely home. The ceremony happens in circles. Families, communities, strangers, all connected by cotton strings and ancient words. But here's the twist. This isn't tourism. This is how Lao people welcome anyone into their family, their village, their heart. It's the most authentic cultural exchange you'll ever experience. And it costs nothing but respect and an open mind. The cotton threads aren't decoration. They're spiritual technology. Each knot represents a blessing, each thread a connection to the community that now considers you family. Foreigners often receive more Bachi blessings than locals, because the Lao believe visitors need extra spiritual protection so far from home. Watch someone's face during a Bachi ceremony. There's something that happens when an elder looks into your eyes and genuinely wishes for your soul's completeness. The cynic dissolves. The traveler becomes human. The stranger becomes a son or daughter. Number 3. When nature breaks its own rules. At Quang Si Falls near Luang Prabang, limestone has created something impossible. Water that seems to flow upward. The calcium carbonate deposits have built terrace pools that appear to defy gravity, each one more ethereal than the last. The secret lies in the limestone. As water flows over it for centuries, minerals crystallize, building natural dams that create this stairway of pools. The result? Water so clear you can see every pebble 30 feet down, glowing like liquid gemstones. Local monks often come here to meditate at dawn, their orange robes reflected in mirrors of turquoise water. They believe the falls hold healing powers, and watching the sunrise paint the mist gold. You might believe it too. But the real magic isn't in the geology. It's in how this place makes time stop. Visitors plan to stay an hour and find themselves there all day, hypnotized by the sound of water that seems to whisper ancient secrets. The pools invite you to wade in, to feel the limestone smooth beneath your feet, to understand why monks choose this place for contemplation. The turquoise color isn't artificial. It's the result of suspended limestone particles catching light in ways that seem almost supernatural. Photography fails to capture the intensity of the blues and greens, leaving visitors stammering for words to describe colors that don't exist anywhere else. But this paradise hides a darker secret we'll reveal later. For now, tell me, have you ever found a place in nature that felt almost too beautiful to be real? What did it make you feel? Number 4. The Elephant Graveyard Mystery. Deep in the jungles of Sayaburi Province lies something that shouldn't exist according to science. Elephant graveyards. Local guides speak in whispers about hidden valleys filled with ancient elephant bones, places where the giants come to die. Laos was once called land of 1,000,000 elephants. Today, fewer than 800 remain in the wild. But the Elephant Conservation Center has documented something extraordinary. Elephants here display mourning behaviors, returning to places where their elders died, touching the bones with their trunks. Here's what scientists can't explain. How do these elephants navigate to the same remote locations generation after generation? Is it memory, instinct, or something deeper? The Mahouts, traditional elephant keepers, claim elephants carry maps in their hearts, inherited knowledge of sacred places where their ancestors rest. The Conservation Center has recorded elephants standing vigil over deceased companions for days, their massive bodies still as temple statues. When they finally leave, they take branches and cover the body, a funeral ritual humans didn't teach them. But the mystery deepens. Local villagers report finding elephant bones arranged in patterns, skulls facing the same direction, tusks crossed like ceremonial swords. Natural occurrence or animal intelligence, we don't understand. The most haunting part, young elephants born in captivity, who've never seen their wild ancestors' burial grounds, still show agitation when passing certain jungle areas. They stop, listen, and sometimes refuse to continue. What do they sense that we cannot? Number 5. When breakfast predicts your destiny. In every Lao morning market, elderly women sit beside baskets of khao niao, sticky rice. But some can read more than your hunger. They read your future in how you shape the rice, how it sticks to your fingers, how steam rises from the bamboo basket. The practice dates back centuries, blending animist beliefs with Buddhist philosophy. The rice becomes a mirror for your soul's condition. Sticky rice that falls apart? Scattered spirits. Rice that molds perfectly? Harmony ahead. Steam that rises straight up? Clear thinking. Steam that swirls? Confusion in your path. But here's what tourists miss. This isn't entertainment. These women are community counselors, therapists, and spiritual guides rolled into one. Their wisdom comes not from mysticism, but from decades of listening to human hearts, reading body language, and understanding the weight of unspoken worries. The fortune-telling session begins before you even approach. The reader watches how you walk, how you choose your spot, and whether you make eye contact. By the time you sit down, half your reading is complete. The rice merely confirms what your behavior already revealed. The most accurate readings happen when the reader knows nothing about you, but everything about human nature. They speak in metaphors, rivers for emotions, mountains for obstacles, birds for opportunities. The rice becomes a tool for conversation, not prediction. Number 6. The bamboo that sings your soul. The cane, Laos's national instrument, is carved from bamboo that grows only during certain moon phases. When played by a master, its haunting harmonics can supposedly make listeners cry without knowing why. The music tells stories through a call and response style called lam luang, poetic battles where singers craft verses on the spot, often flirting, joking, or sharing village gossip. It's like rap battles, but with bamboo pipes and thousand-year-old poetry. But the cane holds deeper power. During bachi ceremonies, its resonance is believed to help scattered spirits find their way home to your body. The sound becomes a beacon for your soul's lost pieces, vibrating at frequencies that speak to something older than conscious thought. Each cane is unique, like a fingerprint of bamboo and breath. Master craftsmen spend months perfecting the pitch of each reed, creating instruments that will outlive their makers. The bamboo must be cut at exactly the right lunar phase, when the plant's spiritual energy aligns with musical harmony. The learning process takes decades. Students don't just memorize melodies, they learn to channel the bamboo's voice, to become vessels for music that connects earth and sky. The greatest masters claim they don't play the cane plays them. In villages across Laos, the cane still announces births, deaths, harvests, and celebrations. Its voice carries news across valleys, summons communities to gather, and provides the soundtrack for life's most important moments. Number 7. The village where time stopped. In the mountains of Phongsali province, the Aka village of Ban Kumain exists exactly as it did 200 years ago. No electricity, no running water, no roads, just bamboo houses on stilts and traditions passed down through bloodlines. The village elder, now 89, has never left these mountains. She speaks 5 languages fluently, but has never seen a television. Her great-granddaughter weaves patterns that tell the story of their ancestors' journey from Tibet centuries ago. Every thread carries meaning. The zigzag pattern represents the mountain paths their ancestors walked. The diamond shapes symbolize the spirits that guard their village. This isn't just fabric, it's living history you can touch, wear, and pass to your children. But here's the paradox. This village maintains its ancient ways by carefully choosing which modern influences to accept. Solar panels charge phones that preserve traditional songs. GPS helps hunters navigate ancestral hunting grounds. They use modern tools to protect ancient wisdom. The children here grow up bilingual in ways city kids never will, fluent in their tribal language and the language of the forest. They can identify medicinal plants by touch in complete darkness, predict weather by reading cloud patterns, and navigate mountain trails by following animal paths invisible to outsiders. Yet they also understand the modern world that lies beyond their valleys. They make conscious choices about which traditions to preserve and which changes to embrace. This isn't isolation, it's curation. The most fascinating part? Young people who leave for education often return, choosing this ancient lifestyle over modern conveniences. They've seen both worlds and chosen the one that feels more like home to the soul. Number 8. The street where food costs more than gold. A bowl of cow piak sun, Lao chicken noodle soup, costs 50 cents. But the recipe for perfect broth has been in some families for 15 generations, making it more valuable than any treasure. The noodles are hand-rolled from rice flour at 4 a.m. daily. The broth simmers for 18 hours with bones from free-range chickens that wandered specific hillsides eating specific herbs. The result? Soup so complex it makes French chefs weep. But here's the secret ingredient: time and love measured in decades. These recipes aren't written down, they're passed through hands, through taste, through generations of mothers teaching daughters the precise moment when broth becomes medicine. In Luang Prabang's morning markets, you'll find soup stalls run by the same families for over a century. The grandmother who serves you learned from her grandmother, who learned from hers. The bowl you hold contains more history than most museums. Each family guards their variations jealously. The herb blend that makes one stall's soup taste like childhood memories. The bone selection technique that creates broth so clear it reflects your face. The timing that turns simple ingredients into liquid comfort. These secrets die with their keepers. The tragedy is that these soup masters are aging. Their children often choose air-conditioned restaurants over pre-dawn market preparation. Ancient knowledge disappears with each generation that decides modern life is easier than mastering traditional crafts. But in that 50-cent bowl lies a lesson about value that economists miss entirely. The real cost isn't monetary. It's the accumulated wisdom of centuries, the patience to perfect something simple, the dedication to feed your community better than they could ever feed themselves. What family recipe do you wish you had learned? Share those memories below in the comment section, and tell me about the dish that connected you to your heritage. Number 9. The bamboo missiles that carry prayers. Every May, before the rainy season, villages across Laos build rockets the size of telephone poles and fire them into the sky. This isn't celebration. It's negotiation with the rain god, Vientiane. The rockets are architectural marvels of bamboo, gunpowder, and hope. Some reach 500 feet high, carrying prayers for rain, good harvest, and community health. The higher the rocket flies, the more generous the rains will be. But here's the twist. If your rocket fails to launch or explodes on the ground, you get thrown into the village mud pit, fully clothed. It's cosmic justice, served with laughter and beer. The festival has pre-Buddhist roots, connecting to fertility rituals and community bonding. Women craft intricate decorations, while men focus on engineering. Children help with gunpowder, while elders oversee the spiritual protocols. Months of preparation go into each rocket. Villages compete not just for height, but for artistic beauty and spiritual power. The decorations tell stories, mythical creatures that protect the village, symbols that invoke prosperity, patterns that represent harmony between earth and sky. The most successful rockets aren't just well-engineered. They're blessed by monks, decorated by artists, and launched with the unified prayers of entire communities. The technology serves the spirituality, not the other way around. When a rocket soars perfectly, disappearing into the clouds, the entire village erupts in celebration. They've successfully communicated with the divine. When it explodes on the ground, everyone laughs, because even the gods appreciate good humor about failure. Number 10. The underwater city that refuses to die. Beneath the placid waters of Nam Gum Reservoir lies a complete city, Luang Prabang, flooded in the 1970s to create Laos's largest hydroelectric dam. On low water days, temple spires still break the surface like stone fingers pointing to heaven. Over 3,000 families were relocated, abandoning not just homes but ancestral burial grounds, temples built by their great-grandfathers, and fruit trees planted at their children's births. The water rose slowly. Families had time to salvage belongings, but not memories. elderly villagers still boat out to the spot where their childhood homes lie 40 feet underwater. They drop flowers and incense, performing ceremonies for ancestors whose graves are now fish sanctuaries. But here's what haunts the shoreline. Every year, as water levels fluctuate, different parts of the old village emerge. Buddhist statues appear in rice fields. Stone foundations surface in fishing spots. The past refuses to stay buried. Fishermen report catching their nets on submerged doorways of houses they once visited for New Year celebrations. Children swim above playgrounds where their grandparents once played. The reservoir has become a liquid museum, displaying artifacts of interrupted lives. The most heartbreaking part? Some elderly residents never adapted to their new homes. They lived the rest of their lives as emotional refugees, bodies in new villages, but hearts 40 feet underwater. Progress had solved an energy problem, but created a spiritual crisis. The dam powers much of northern Laos, bringing electricity to cities and factories. But in quiet moments, when the water is perfectly still and the afternoon light penetrates deep, you can almost see the life that thrives below. Not just fish, but the ghosts of community, the shadows of heritage. Number 11. The bridge that connects two worlds. Every year in Luang Prabang, after the rainy season floods wash away the previous bridge, villagers rebuild the Nam Khan bamboo bridge using techniques unchanged for centuries. No nails, no bolts, just bamboo, rope, and engineering genius. The bridge flexes with flood waters instead of fighting them. It can support elephants, yet dismantles easily when nature demands it back. Modern engineers study its design, marveling at solutions their computers couldn't calculate. But the bridge is more than transportation. It's community theater. Its construction involves the entire neighborhood. Children pass bamboo poles. Elders supervise joint placement. Teenagers compete to tie the tightest knots. The most beautiful part? Every evening, the bridge becomes Luang Prabang's social center. Families gather to watch sunset. Young couples hold hands over the flowing water, and children drop paper boats carrying wishes downstream. The engineering principles are fascinating. The bridge's flexibility distributes stress across multiple joints rather than concentrating it in rigid connections. When floods come, the structure bends without breaking, then springs back to its original shape. But the social engineering is even more sophisticated. Building the bridge creates the community bonds necessary to maintain it. Everyone has ownership because everyone contributed labor. The bridge doesn't just connect two riverbanks, it connects people to shared purpose. When typhoons destroy the bridge ahead of schedule, no one complains. They simply start gathering bamboo for next year's construction. The bridge's impermanence is part of its perfection. It teaches the community to work together annually, keeping social bonds as flexible and strong as the bamboo joints. Number 12. When French dreams became Lao gold. On the Beau-Laven Plateau, 3,000 feet above sea level, French colonists planted coffee in the 1920s thinking they'd create another Vietnam. Instead, they accidentally created some of the world's finest Arabica, grown in volcanic soil and cooled by perpetual mist. Today, Lao coffee sells in Parisian cafes for $40 per pound, but the farmers who grow it often make less in a month than a single cup costs in Europe. The contradiction is as bitter as espresso. But here's the revolution. Young Lao farmers are bypassing middlemen, roasting their own beans, and selling directly to international buyers through social media. A smartphone has become more valuable than any colonial legacy. The irony is perfect. Coffee planted to serve colonial masters now funds the independence of their grandchildren. Every cup you drink from the Beau-Laven Plateau carries the taste of quiet revolution. The plateau's unique microclimate creates coffee with flavor profiles that change with elevation. Farmers at 3,000 feet produce beans with bright acidity and floral notes. Those at 4,000 feet harvest coffee with deep, chocolatey undertones. The mountain itself becomes the master roaster. Traditional processing methods add complexity that industrial farms can't replicate. Beans are dried on elevated bamboo beds, turned by hand every few hours, protected from rain by banana leaves. The result is coffee so distinctive that expert tasters can identify not just the region, but often the specific farm. The young entrepreneurs breaking the supply chain aren't just selling coffee, they're selling stories. Each bag comes with photos of the farmer, descriptions of the processing method, even GPS coordinates of where the beans were grown. Consumers in Tokyo and New York know more about their coffee's origin than many industrial products manufactured in their own cities. Number 13. The women who weave time itself. In the villages around Luang Prabang, women wake at 4 a.m. to feed mulberry leaves to silkworms, continuing a 700-year-old cycle that turns cocoons into clothes that tell stories. Each silk skirt, sin, requires 6 months to complete. The intricate patterns aren't decorative, they're historical documents. The Naga serpent design indicates royal bloodlines. The diamond patterns show which village your grandmother came from. The colors reveal your family's spiritual beliefs. But here's what breaks your heart. These master weavers are dying out. Their granddaughters choose office jobs over looms. Ancient patterns that survived wars and colonization might not survive globalization. The most precious textiles are never sold. They're passed mother to daughter at marriage, carrying ancestral protection and family identity. When a master weaver dies, patterns that took generations to perfect disappear forever. The knowledge required is staggering. Which leaves produce the strongest silk? How moon phases affect cocoon quality? What natural dyes create which colors? How to read patterns that serve as genealogical records. Each weaver carries a library of information that took decades to accumulate. The silk itself is extraordinary. Laos silk has a texture and sheen that machine-woven fabric cannot replicate. The irregularities that modern manufacturing eliminates are what give hand-woven silk its character. Slight variations in thread thickness that catch light differently, creating depth that changes with viewing angle. But the cultural significance transcends the physical object. A sin worn to temple ceremonies connects the wearer to her grandmother, great-grandmother, and ancestors stretching back centuries. The patterns aren't just pretty, they're prayers made visible, family history worn like armor against forgetting. The tragedy is that this knowledge is disappearing faster than anyone realizes. Each pattern that dies with an elderly weaver represents hundreds of years of cultural evolution, artistic refinement, and spiritual significance lost forever. Number 14. When 4,000 becomes infinity. Si Phan Dan, the 4,000 Islands, is the Mekong River's final gift before entering Cambodia. But the number changes daily. During floods, thousands vanish. During droughts, new ones emerge. The river plays God with geography. On Dan Dead Island, there are no cars, no hurry, no schedules. People navigate by boat, by bicycle, or by foot along paths that flood twice daily. Time moves with the river's rhythm, not the clock's demands. The islands survive on riverfish, coconut palms, and the philosophy of Bua Piniang, no problem. Western backpackers come seeking paradise and find something more valuable, permission to slow down. But the real magic happens at Kon Phapheng Falls, where the Mekong drops in thunderous cascades. Local legend says the sound is spirits laughing at human worries. Standing there, surrounded by mist and power, you might believe them. Life on the islands operates on river time. Boat schedules depend on water levels. Meals happen when fish are caught. Sleep comes when darkness falls. The absence of artificial urgency creates space for conversations that last hours, for contemplation that stretches across entire afternoons. The geography of constantly changing islands creates a unique philosophy about impermanence. Nothing lasts forever, so why struggle against change? The islands appear and disappear with seasonal rhythms older than human memory, teaching residents that adaptation matters more than attachment. Fishermen here use techniques passed down through generations, reading water conditions like ancient texts. They know which pools hold which fish at different times of the year, which currents carry the biggest catches, which quiet backwaters hide sleeping giants. The most profound realization comes after several days on the islands. You stop checking time. Your body rediscovers natural rhythms. You wake with sunrise, eat when hungry, sleep when tired. The artificial structures that normally govern your days dissolve like mist over water. Number 15. When beauty transcends the physical. Travelers often claim Lao women are the most beautiful in Southeast Asia. But after spending time here, you realize it's not about features or fashion. It's about grace, the way they move through the world with quiet dignity. Watch a Lao woman serve sticky rice. Her movements flow like water, each gesture deliberate and peaceful. There's no hurry, no aggression, just centuries of cultural refinement expressing itself through simple actions. The true beauty lies in their relationship with time and community. In a world obsessed with individual achievement, Lao women prioritize collective harmony. They measure success not by personal wealth, but by family peace and community health. But here's what visitors miss. This grace isn't natural. It's learned. From childhood, girls learn that true beauty comes from making others feel comfortable, honored, and welcome. Their beauty is active, generous, purposeful. The education begins early. How to walk without hurrying, how to speak without interrupting, how to listen without judging. These aren't restrictive traditions. They're sophisticated social technology that creates harmony in communities where everyone must cooperate to survive. The most beautiful moment? Watching a young Lao woman explain traditional customs to her foreign boyfriend, bridging two worlds with patience and laughter. Cultural beauty at its finest, the ability to translate between different ways of understanding the world without losing respect for either. This kind of beauty can't be photographed or purchased. It exists in interactions, in the space between people, in the way someone's presence makes you feel more peaceful, more centered, more hopeful about human nature. The deeper truth. This beauty is disappearing as quickly as the silk weaving patterns. Young women moving to cities often adopt different values. Individual success over community harmony. Speed over grace, competition over cooperation. The urban world rewards different types of beauty, and ancient ways of being beautiful become extinct. What makes someone truly beautiful to you? Beyond the physical, what draws you to another soul? Share with the number 15, and tell me about someone whose inner beauty left a lasting impression on your understanding of what it means to be truly attractive. Here's what 15 facts about Laos actually reveal. This isn't a country that time forgot. This is a nation that consciously chose which parts of the modern world to embrace and which to resist. Every bomb casing turned into a planter, every ancient ritual preserved in a digital world, every bamboo bridge that outperforms concrete. These aren't accidents or quaint traditions. They're deliberate acts of cultural resistance. Laos survived colonization, carpet bombing, and globalization not by fighting them directly, but by absorbing what served their values and quietly rejecting what didn't. They weaponized patience, turned trauma into foundation, and made slowness their superpower. The cheapest country in Southeast Asia isn't poor. It's rich in ways economists can't measure. Community over competition. Harmony over hurry. Wisdom over wealth. But here's the haunting question. As the world speeds up and prices rise, as young people migrate to cities and ancient knowledge dies with elders, can Laos maintain this delicate balance? Are you watching a culture at its peak or its last perfect moment? Remember those 32 spirits that can scatter from your soul? After walking through Laos, through bomb craters turned gardens, through villages where time bends, through the patient smiles of people who've mastered the art of letting go, you might discover some of your own scattered pieces. Perhaps the real secret of Laos isn't hidden in its history or customs. Perhaps it's hidden in how this place makes you question everything you thought you knew about success, beauty, and what makes life worth living. In a world that demands you hurry, Laos whispers, "Bua Paniang." No problem. Take your time. Your soul will find its way home. If this journey through Laos revealed something unexpected about yourself, about what matters, about the price of peace in a chaotic world, share this video with someone who needs permission to slow down. Drop a comment and tell me, which of these 15 facts surprised you most? And here's the big question. Would you be willing to live more slowly if it meant living more deeply? If stories like these call to your wandering spirit, if you believe travel should change more than your location, subscribe and join fellow souls who see the world not as destinations to check off, but as teachers waiting to transform us. The road to understanding never ends, but it always begins with a single step toward places that remember what the world forgot.